Hey guys, welcome to the channel Rockin' the Country. I'm Don, where I react to non-pop country music, but also we're becoming the country music education channel because of the reactions that folks have made gifts for me to do to various interviews or country family reunion episodes and so on. This one is courtesy of Renaynay Mooberry, and this is part 1 of 5 because it's about an hour and 15 minutes long. And this is what, so Renee, thank you for the gift and request. It's Chris Hillman and Dwight Yoakam's 2025 interview. I really maybe should say Dwight Yoakam and Chris Hillman, but, because Dwight to me is the bigger name, but we'll let that part go. Renee said this. Since the exhibit which this interview was based upon was not shown during this video, thought you might like more information on the exhibit. Chris Hillman and Dwight Yoakam, two of the most significant figures in country rock, make a rare appearance together to discuss their rich and storied careers, their musical influences, and the repercussions of the country rock movement, which are still felt today. This program, moderated by the museum's Aaron Osman, was filmed on August 23, 2025, and offered in support of the September 2025 exhibition, Western Edge, The Roots and Reverberations of Los Angeles Country Rock, presented by City National Bank, with programming made possible in part by the Academy of Country Music. So I got that. Renee sent me the link to the Country Music Hall of Fame and Museums channel. That's where this came from. So I'm putting the link down in the description below so you could go over and check out what they've got. They have a lot of stuff over there too. So let's get into this one, shall we? All right, guys, here's part 1.
My name is Aaron Osman. I'm a writer and editor here at the Country Music Hall of Fame and Museum. And I am so delighted to welcome all of you to the Ford Theater for a program with two of the most significant figures in country rock, Chris Hillman and Dwight Yoakam.
Yay. I wonder if Dwight will be inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame.
Today's conversation is part of the museum's exhibition Western Edge, The Roots and Reverberations of Los Angeles Country Rock, which is sponsored by City National Bank, and which will conclude its nearly 3-year run on September 16th. We'd also like to thank the Academy of Country Music for making programming in support of this exhibit possible. Now, just a little bit about our guests. The country rock genre would not exist without Chris Hillman, a founding member of the Byrds, the Flying Burrito Brothers, Manassas, Souther Hillman Foray Band, and the Desert Rose Band, and a member of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. A Southern California native, Hillman grew up on bluegrass and American folk music, and he began combining those sounds with rock and roll in the 1960s. He inspired a wave of similarly minded acts in Los Angeles in succeeding years. Of Hillman's profound influence on country rock, Tom Petty once wrote, quote, "Every time the Eagles board their private jet, Chris at least paid for the fuel."
That was good.
Our second guest is Dwight Yoakam, who helped lead a return to the raw edge twang of traditional country music in the 1980s and 90s, combining bluegrass and honky-tonk sounds with a jolt of rock and roll energy. Beginning in 1986 with his groundbreaking album Guitars, Cadillacs, Etc., Etc., Yoakam released a series of beloved gold and platinum selling albums and 24 top 20 country singles that shook up country music and established him as an important, exceptional, and enduring voice in country rock. It is my great honor to welcome to the stage the incomparable Chris Hillman and Dwight Yoakam.
She's very articulate. I imagine she wrote that, Aaron.
Here we are.
These are just props today. They've mic'd us, Chris.
I know, now we're in serious trouble. Oh, yeah. There we go. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thank
wait,
you.
Aaron, I got to do something on orders from my manager. I want to thank Kyle Young. This exhibit was so good.
Yeah.
Everybody that worked on this exhibit, it was so good. It just doesn't get any better than what it was, and it's still going on for a couple more weeks. I want to thank Kyle Young, Michael Gray, Warren Denny, Amy Graham, Michael McCall, Aaron Osman, Jeremy Rush, Kaylee Shoemaker, and Brenda Colliday, who used to work here on this, and worked on this whole exhibit. So thank you. It was such a joy for all of us being in it and being watching it and seeing it all go down. So there you go. Now,
Thank you
Yes,
so much.
absolutely. Thank you.
Did you get all of them?
He covered everybody.
So I really wanted to open today with a quote from Chris's book, Time Between. And Dwight, it's something you actually wrote in the foreword. Writing about Chris, you said, Chris Hillman proved to be a Kit Carson-like California musical frontiersman and pathfinder that all of us who've subsequently followed in modern country and country rock music used as a crucial navigational beacon. Chris, I wonder, how do you feel about Dwight's assessment and your view in the creation of country rock?
gosh, Aaron, I don't know, but Dwight, always ever so kind and such a wonderful friend to me through the years. I don't know if I deserve that, but I just was blessed. I had such a wonderful time, and the original part of my career when I started, I didn't want to be the big lead singer, rock star guy and all that. I was a musician, you know. I liked to play. I was an ensemble musician. But I appreciate it. I appreciate everything he has said, and other people that I know have said things. And it just sort of happened. The whole country rock sound happened, almost evolved in an ever so normal of a way. Wouldn't you think that happened? It was just these two styles just sort of melting together.
Well, you know, it's like the channel you share space with me on. You know, the backdrop to the Sirius XM channel is that from the Dust Bowl to the Hollywood Bowl, all points in between and beyond, because we cover, you know, all of that. And the exhibit, when it occurred, Chris and I told you, we talked about it when it came up. They had done, of course, the Hall of Fame is one of the, I've said over the years and over the course of my entire career that one of the best things in all of music, all genres, is the Country Music Hall of Fame in Nashville, Tennessee, and the reverence that the Country Music Hall of Fame, the foundation, has shown for the legacy and the history of this genre of music. And one of my first really, I was in the old Hall of Fame building over a Music Row, now 100 years ago, it seems. In the fall of 1985, I'd signed with Warner Brothers. We had that album out, the original independent LP, and I came over and did an interview in the basement in the archive section that they allowed me to go on. I think it went on for about 3 hours. It was about the breadth and width of anything I wanted to discuss with them, you know, for the archives. It was Smithsonian-like, and at that point, I realized that the Country Music Hall of Fame is probably the most important element in all of the country music industry, and the chronicling of the form. And so when they created this exhibit, because they had done the Bakersfield Sound, you know, Chris, you and I were involved in that, and did an interview together with Merle.
That's right.
You know, of all, it was one of the highlights of my life and career was doing that at Capitol Studios. Sherman Halsey, God rest his soul, and really a dear guy. I know you loved him, Chris, and passed far too young. But Sherman was at that point involved with Merle. Sherman's dad, Jim Halsey, and this goes to, you threw to me for a simple answer to a question, and of course I've gone off on a tangent that I'll come back from, circle back and answer that question.
May I share something from that particular day? You and I and Merle were in Capitol.
Yeah.
And you were starting to go and discuss country rock and that, and you brought up Sweetheart of the Rodeo, the album. And Merle looks at me and goes, almost.
Yeah, I was like,
and I started laughing, and we both started laughing.
But you took it in the right spirit. I mean, it's Merle Haggard, and it's California.
And I said, you're sort of right on that, but it was a no.
Well, yeah, I mean, anyway. but you know what? Almost, I would beg to differ and say no, absolutely, Sweetheart of the Rodeo, because I've pointed to that many times in my career. You and I have discussed with the channel a lot the precedent music that really delivered country rock, But what Merle probably was, I think he was just being himself in that, and he was being a little bit wry about it. He was teasing you, when he said almost, because he knew you were revering what he did, what Buck, what the legacy of everything that came before. I mean, he understood that. And it was more of a sidebar comment just to, razz Chris. But
I thought it was funny. Yeah.
No, it was. It's like, yeah, it was. The three of us didn't care at that point in terms of what either of us said about anything and all things.
All right, but I don't want to blow past and lose sight of what he said about the importance of the Country Music Hall of Fame. And actually, I've covered, I think, all 161 inductees into the Country Music Hall of Fame. It was started in 1961. I think Hank Sr. may have been the first one inducted. There were 3 that year, and just 161. But what he was talking about, even referencing the Smithsonian, sort of analogizing it to like the importance of what they have over there. And I'm going to check that out when I get down to Nashville, maybe do some interviews myself there. I have ideas already and have been germinating ideas and developing them, fleshing them out as far as what I want to do with the channel when I go down to Nashville, which I will likely be down there as of this weekend, unless I take one more detour over to Asheville. We'll see how that goes. But all that said, what Dwight said about the importance of the Country Music Hall of Fame, it's just like the depository of so many interviews, like the one Dwight referenced, and other materials and such. So, all right, here we go.
But he knew, and he knew the importance of what you did, because he and I had talked on a couple of different occasions about the confluence of styles in music. I mean, his reference for Bob Wills and Western swing was an illustration. And Merle was doing jazz at different points, and especially later in his career. And because, there was all this cross-pollination in California. And they had done the Bakersfield Sound, and Chris was part of that, and I, and on the audio interviews with Merle that day and independently. And then
hijacking alert. You could tell Dwight's the front man of his own band, and you could tell Chris is he didn't like the limelight. He said it right in the beginning, and that is being shown right here, where Dwight is the front man of this whole interview. Aaron will chime in at some point, I'm sure, but Dwight's going to be Dwight.
I thought, well, I was only sad that Buck didn't live to see that. He would have been so proud of that exhibit. And I was thrilled that Merle got to see Nashville and the Country Music Hall of Fame pay such respect to what he and all those that preceded him had done with regards to, we've talked, Chris, the legacy, what leads to Chris and what then leads Chris and what he was doing in spite of me not really even knowing the specifics, was inspiring a young version of me to come to the West Coast. What Merle had as a springboard was, the work of Tommy Collins and Wynn Stewart, and performing in Wynn Stewart's band, playing bass with Wynn, and Buck, of course, playing lead guitar with both of them on record. So all of that, gave birth to Merle. And Merle was never lost sight of that in his life and career. Leonard, the song Leonard, in the last third of Merle's career that I think he cut in, I don't know, early 80s. When Leonard finally came to California, he was 21 years old, as I recall. He came to, He came to write a song and make a big time, and he came to hang a gold one on the wall. It was about Tommy Collins, because Tommy's birth name was Leonard Sykes, I think was Tommy's last name. And Merle was always acutely aware of the journey of California's version of country music. He asked me, Chris, I don't know if you were there when he mentioned it, I think we were alone, and he said,
Aaron wants to ask a question here.
Country music in Nashville and country music in California. I said, I could hazard a guess, but what's your view of the difference? He said, country music in Nashville came out of the churches. He said, country music in California came out of the honky-tonks and bars. And that's not altogether, exclusive of one with the other, but it's in a large sense it was accurate in that Buck said he became infatuated sneaking to the labor camp tents. On Saturday night, they would have a touring act come through, and they would have a dance tent. And he would sneak in and lift up the canvas, he said, and he became infatuated with learning to play the mandolin like Chris did. His first instrument was mandolin, Buck.
Yeah.
I don't know if did he tell you that ever?
What's that?
Did Buck ever tell you that his first...
I didn't know he played mandolin, no.
Yeah,
no
his
idea.
first instrument, because he became infatuated with watching these labor camp bands that would come through on Saturday night, play for dances.
Labor camp,
in any event,
Yeah.
it's not a simple answer because
It
it encompasses so much landscape.
You know what? I think
It never is.
Aaron has so many
Dwight.
questions, but we need to... No,
That was the one question.
no, don't get
This
Nice.
one's going how long?
Don't get Dwight and I going, because we'll go off on 14 tangents, and meaning all well. And he's right. He always brings it back to it. I got to hand it to him. He'll always bring that back to the original question. Aaron.
It's a long detour.
So,
I do
Dwight, speaking of your first record, in my research...
She asked me another question.
No, I guided it over to you.
She's not keeping up, Chris. So he threw to you to go back to him so they could... Anyway.
In my research, I discovered that the two of you appeared on an episode of Nashville Now together.
Who's that?
You and Chris.
Yes.
In 1985.
Sorry, I'm hearing kind of the house.
Okay.
Is Chris and Aaron in the monitor?
Yeah.
Can they no, I just hear in the house. Anyway.
Okay, so
in
it's 1985.
85, yeah. In the fall, I was unknown.
Yes, let's watch a little footage that I put together.
Uh-oh. This will shut me up.
Oh, good.
Our first guests tonight are two people who have had a major impact on a wide variety of musical trends since the 1960s. One is a former member of such groups as the Byrds, the Flying Burrito Brothers, and the other played banjo with Lester Flatt, worked with the Dillards, and then went on to become one of the top session musicians in California. And as you will see and hear during tonight's show, they both have a lot in common with another of our guests, Emmylou Harris. But now, to open tonight's show, would you welcome Chris Hillman and Herb Peterson.
This old town's filled with sin. It'll swallow you in if you've got some money to burn. Take it home right away. You've got 3 years to pay, and Satan is waiting his turn. This old earthquake's gonna leave me in the poorhouse. It seems like this whole town's insane. On the 31st floor, a gold-plated door won't keep out the Lord's burning rain.
Hey, our next guest is a new artist on Warner Brothers Records. He started singing and writing songs as a youngster in Pikeville, Kentucky. For the last 7 years, he's been working on his music in the Southern
Dwight.
California area. Would you welcome Dwight Yoakam?
What's he gonna do?
We learned reading, writing, rap 23, took the jobs later waiting in no city's factory. They learned reading, writing, roads to the north, to the luxury and comfort a coal miner can't afford.
Ohio and Michigan.
They thought reading, writing, rap 23, I would take them to the good life they had never seen. They didn't know that that old highway could lead them to a world of misery.
Hillman.
All right. I'm going to stop there and pick it up on part 2 of this 5-part episode. I know we're going to get music, we get insight and all this. So this is going in the documentary series playlist for ease of reference too, for those who request it, like Renee in this case, or anybody who wants to check these out. But these interviews and some of the Country Family reunion episodes that I've broken into multiple parts, those are also commonly in the documentary series playlist. So there we have it, folks. I hope you enjoyed that one. I'll see you on part 2 and on another video. Have a great day. See you on another video. I keep rocking the country.
Chris, I wonder, how do you feel about Dwight's assessment and your view in the creation of country rock?
Gosh, Aaron, I don't know, but Dwight, always ever so kind and such a wonderful friend to me through the years. I don't know if I deserve that, but